Hello, welcome to Ivory Creek Handmade. Today we're going to make a soap using indigo and annatto seed oil infusions so that we can get a gorgeous green. We've been testing this for a couple of weeks now and we think we've got the one that we're after. It's slightly different to the one we were hoping for because we kind of ran out of the indigo infusions, so we had to make a quick decision on the fly as to how much annatto we needed to add to counteract the shortfall in indigo to still get a gorgeous green. And I think it turned out really well, probably better than expected. So in this particular one we used a indigo oil infusion that had been sitting for probably a couple of months by the time we got it into this particular soap. And the annatto seed oil infusion was a relatively newer one, but as we discovered, having been the first time we used annatto seed, that it gives a gorgeous color without having to sit for too long. So that was really good. So in this particular recipe, it's a double batch that we're doing at this point. This is for a custom order and it's 20 bars of soap. So it was 760 grams of olive oil is the amount that we would put in this double batch. And we substituted some of that olive oil portion with the oil infusions. So we used 173 grams of indigo oil infusion and 33 grams of the annatto seed oil infusion in this particular one, and the rest was just plain olive oil. So as you can see, it's a beautiful deep green, and we're expecting that it won't fade like the plant-based or leaf-based green colorants can, so or algae, I guess, spirulina, the spinach powders and things like that. So hopefully with the use of indigo and annatto together, it'll keep it nice and green for a long time. At this point we're just checking that it's emulsified and at a point where we're happy with it. It's the first time we've done a double batch in one go, and the stick blender we usually use isn't a super powerful one, so it was a bit of a challenge to make sure that it was all mixed in and got to emulsion and worked really well. Here we're just adding in the essential oil blend that has a kaolin clay added to it to help anchor the scent. And the essential oil blend on this one is a beautiful Australiana kind of scent with a little bit of lemon myrtle and eucalyptus, nerolina, rosalina in it. So, and a little bit of Litsi cubeba in there as well. So it's a really lovely scent. Just checking again to see if we're happy that it's emulsified, at the very least a light trace. The safety glasses we use, and because I always soap at night, because that's usually when I get the chance to do it, it can be a little bit tricky to see when it's at that point where it's emulsified but not quite a trace, without having to remove the glasses, which is not ideal when you're dealing with raw soap batter. So it can be a little bit tricky to find that sweet spot, but I think we found it at this point. This is just me adding in some extra plain olive oil, because as I was adding in the oil infusions, I wanted to give myself a buffer to be able to move if I needed to add any of the additional oil infusions, because if you add everything in and then you need to add some more of the oil infusion, then it becomes additional super fat in the recipe, which is not always ideal if you have to add quite a bit. So that was just me adding in that extra plain olive oil to top it up. And now we're going to pour it off. There we go. And it poured beautifully. It was at the perfect point to pour. Our customer wanted the tops to be flat, and pouring at this point would have been perfect. But then, because I'm getting used to using the like 2 molds for a double batch, and getting them even across the top was a little bit more of a challenge than I expected. So we ended up adding texture to the top by trying to take some from one and over to the other. So not 100% ideal, but it's all been a learning for us. So yeah, at the end of the day, we ended up trimming off the tops of all of these soaps. There are 100 in the order, so we trimmed off the tops of all of them just to make sure that we were taking off any texture and keeping them consistent size across all of them. So it worked out quite well. It's just me scraping out the container. It's quite tricky to line up the pour without getting the bucket in the way and ensuring it's visible on camera for everyone to see. And sometimes you just can't manage it. But we do our best. And it's about here I realised that one's got a little bit more in it than the other, and probably just need to even that out. I'm currently trying to decide if the difference is worth messing up the tops and adding texture to them, and trying to work out the best way to get the soap from one into the other. Weapon of choice, spoon. Hoping that banging on the table will help even out the texture. Alas, not so much. And that's it. So thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the content. As always, please like and subscribe if you got some value out of it. Thanks, and we'll see you on the next one.